Join us today on Inside Maine Business, where we'll be speaking with Vaughn Stinson, Chief Executive Officer of the Maine Tourism Association.
Inside Maine Business with Kim Lindloff and Steve Wallace is Maine's only business show hosted by Maine business leaders. Lindloff and Wallace know firsthand what it takes to bring business to Maine and what goes on behind the headlines of Maine's biggest business stories. Inside Maine Business will bring you the movers and shakers of Maine's business world. From banking, investment, real estate development, and tourism to Maine's most successful companies, Inside Maine Business will bring you the answers you need about Maine business.
You've heard it all before. Come locate your business in our region. At Mid-Maine, we've got a different message. We say, come visit the Waterville region and let us show you a great place to live, work, and play. You'll find we offer a diversified economy, progressive business climate, and an outstanding lifestyle. But don't take our word for it. Let us show you what we offer. It's easy to arrange a visit. Just a quick stop at the Mid-Maine Chamber of Commerce website will get you started.
Fresh snow, fresh air, and incredible scenery awaits you in the Kennebec and Moose River valleys this winter. Enjoy an endless number of high-quality groomed snowmobile trails and places to stay. If you like winter fishing, you'll find world-class ice fishing in the Kennebec Valley. In addition to art and antique galleries and a wide array of restaurants to suit every palate. Visit us soon at www.kennebecvalley.org to download or request our travel guide and create your winter memories in the Kennebec and Moose River valleys today.
Welcome to Inside Maine Business. My name is Kim Lindloff, and once again I'm joined today by Steve Wallace.
Kim, good to see you.
Nice to see you too. Today we're going to be interviewing Vaughn Stinson. Vaughn is with the Maine Tourism Association, and tourism is the #1 industry in the state of Maine.
Yes.
So I think it'll be interesting to hear from him his insight on how tourism has been going over the last year or two, how he sees it developing in the future, and how as a business community we can aid in that effort and grow tourism in the state.
Yeah. And you know, I'm curious, we always hear that Maine tourism is one of the #1 segments. To hear some of the numbers that support that, you know, does it support all businesses? You know, what are the true numbers of people coming into the state? And, you know, I think when people hear those numbers, they'll be surprised.
And how much it's giving back to the general fund, to the state of Maine. So how it's supporting things like transportation and education and those other, you know, areas of government that we spend money.
Yeah, yeah. And I want to find out where people are visiting too. So maybe Vaughn can show us those things. So folks, we've got a great show today. You're definitely going to want to hear what Vaughn has to say. So stay with us on Inside Maine Business.
Turn your unwanted gold and jewelry into instant cash. Maine Gold and Silver wants to buy your gold and jewelry no matter what its condition. Gold is gold, and that means cash in your pocket. Don't trust your valuable gold to some unknown buyer via mail. Bring it to us and talk with our buyer face to face. It's the fastest, safest, most reliable way to convert your gold into instant cash. Maine Gold and Silver, making our customers friends for a lifetime.
Appreciation. Pass it on.
'Cause Mom, you always were the perfect
A message from the Foundation for a Better Life.
And we're back today on Inside Maine Business with Vaughn Stinson. Vaughn is the CEO of the Maine Tourism Association. Welcome, Vaughn.
Vaughn.
Thank you. Great to be back with you.
Tell us a little bit about the state of tourism in the state of Maine.
Well, it's been a very good year. We were very pleased with how we ended out 2010. We were up almost 8% in lodging, 3% in restaurants, and more than 2% in our visitor information center. So it was a good year for us.
Lots of visits. Vaughn, why don't you tell us a little bit about the office that you represent, because a lot of people don't realize there's the Maine Office of Tourism and the Maine Tourism Association. What's the difference between the two, and and how do they get along? Do they get along?
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, I think we have a great working relationship with the Office of Tourism, and it's very important. Very simply, we're a contractor to the state. Our responsibility to operate the state's visitor information centers, of which there are 8, from Kittery to Calais and in between. We operate those 362 days a year under contract. All the staffing, all the equipment, everything that's inside those centers, our association owns, and then the building is owned by the state, and it's under the control of the Maine Office of Tourism. The other contract we have involves these 2 publications. Maine Invites You, which we print 300,000 copies of, the official travel planner for the state, and then the official highway map, of which we print 400,000 copies. And to the viewers, which I think they'd be very interested in knowing, none of their tax dollars go to pay for those publications. They're all advertising supported.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks, though, that that most of the research is done online nowadays, but actually 300,000 printing is an increase from what it used to be. Do you find that people are going online to do some research and then requesting a copy of the guidebook or the map, or how is that working?
Interesting question. We did research with the Office of Tourism just this past year on that very subject, and what happens is the visitor, today's visitor, is going online, getting their initial research, narrowing down, say, where they want to go in New England. After they narrow it down, in many cases it is us in Maine, then they apply for the publications so that they can do a more in-depth research. They receive the publications, and the next step in that is to go back, and of course, as we all know, we're driven by websites and links now. They begin to go back and do their research where within the state they want to go and what they want to do online. And then this piece comes in quite often into the visitor centers, and they'll ask us about a specific area, or they'll have the map with them and want us to highlight a certain route to where they're going or whatever. So it all gets used and interchanged among the visitor, and it all fits hand in glove, if you will.
So are pieces of Maine Invites You online as well?
The entire publication, Kim, is online. We're the first state to do that, and we're one of the few that still does it. So about a week before we actually have the publication ready, the entire book is online. It remains online all year long. It gives the person who lives off of a laptop that access to it. The other side of it is 2 years ago, we were the first state to put a mobile application online. So where you can't get the entire information online, you can get the really pieces that you might be after, lodging, restaurant, directions, with the mobile application. And it's been a big hit. We have about 25,000 folks a year who download the entire travel planner electronically.
Wow, that's incredible. And you know, what makes it so, I think, so important, so nice also, is this is a great tool for even for Mainers, because I found out there's a lot of people in Maine, you know, the beaches really know the beaches well, but they don't necessarily know the mountains so well. Or Eastern Maine doesn't really know some of the good things that were going on in Western Maine. And from being in the Oxford Hills Chamber to now being in the Southern Midcoast Maine Chamber, I've got to see the East and the West. And we have a great state, and this does a beautiful job of representing that to folks.
And geographically, we have a huge state. So
yeah, those 8 tourism regions are a real challenge for us to explain to people what's there, what's to see and do, where do we want to go. And every year, it's new edit, it's new photographs, it's new copy. Some of the advertisers have been with us for many, many years, but then many of them change what they do as well. And that's an interesting point you make too, Steve, because a number of folks, when you look at the numbers, when you get from Augusta above, it tilts the other way. About 55% of our visitors are Mainers recreating and doing things in Maine. As you go further south, it goes the other way, where it'll be about 60% of those folks are from away, and about 40% of our folks are recreating and visiting in Maine. And of course, that's a proximity to a very large population base in outside of southern Maine. So visitors find it very handy. We have a large number of, as you said so well, folks that are in Maine. They've got a family reunion, they've got a wedding, they've got a school group coming in that need the publication as well. So at the end of the year, there's never very many of the 300,000 copies left. Almost every one of them's out the door. So we're very proud of that.
So when the state's doing their marketing, the tourism regions, do they, and the state itself, knowing that information, are we marketing the state of Maine, the southern part, to people from away and doing in-state marketing for the interior part, or how does that all work?
Most of the in-state marketing that the Office of Tourism does is really by support within the regions themselves as well. By legislative action, the brunt of the tourism dollars are used outside of Maine to promote Maine as a vacation destination, as most states do. It's a real challenge for us. The state comes up with great creative, both in print and electronically, and letting the folks in Maine know that sometimes they don't know what's here. Yeah. With the advent of cable and satellite, a lot of times you'll pick up a station out of state and you'll see one of our ads on there, which are really quite attractive and really do a great deal to draw new visitors and repeat guests to Maine.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's, in the second half of the show, let's stay on that theme. We have to take a break, but let's talk about some of those visitors and some of the most visited places in the state of Maine as we come back from our break. Folks, we're going to give you maybe a top 3 list of the most visited places in Maine when we return on Inside Maine Business.
Ever wonder where real Maine spring water comes from? Well, at Summit Spring, it bubbles from the ground all on its own, just as it has for as long as anyone can remember. To this day, it's still collected in the original stone spring house, without the use of pumps or any artificial means. Visit summitspring.com to get free delivery to your home or office, or look for Summit Spring water wherever natural and organic products are sold. Summit Spring, you should know where your water comes from.
First Park is Maine's premier business and technology center, located in Oakland, just north of the state capitol in Augusta. It is a designated Verizon Smart Park. Many companies have chosen Maine and First Park as a business location. A superior technology infrastructure, economic incentives, and an available world-class workforce are some of First Park's valuable assets. Go to firstpark.com to learn more about First Park. It's the successful address for business.
And we're back with Vaughn Stinson from the Maine Tourism Association. Vaughn, before we broke, Steve alluded to a question that he wanted to ask about the 3 most popular tourism destinations in the state of Maine and what really draws people from away here. Can you fill us in on what that would be?
Well, it'd probably take me an entire show all by myself to go through all the ones that I think that are really important. But when you look at visitor numbers, southern Maine is huge. People still are geared towards beaches, and we have in New England, I think, the best of all of that. Beautiful sandy beaches south, further north you go, the rocky New England coastline that people are looking for. Bar Harbor, Acadia continues to lead in what people are looking for from a vacation standpoint and what they think Maine is all about. When you say that, there's an instant connection there. Certainly the greater Portland area, with all that we have, the working waterfront there, our art, our historic Freeport with the shopping, Kittery with the shopping, still the #1 thing that visitors and guests do when they travel is they shop, thank goodness, because it's a huge part of our economy.
And I love Portland, the greater Portland region's restaurants. There's so many unique,
phenomenal restaurants.
individually owned restaurants. They're just outstanding.
No, we happen to be in the winter